Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a guide for around 12 of the manufacturer series. Let's get this started. Your first braking point is the 100-meter mark. Brake hard for a moment, slowly ease off of the brakes and get two wheels onto the green area. Slowly start to accelerate and take this right turn at full throttle. You want to bring yourself to the right side of the track and brake at the 100-meter mark. Take your time slowly easing off of the brakes and slowly getting on the throttle. Then when the curb on the right starts, use a little bit of braking, get really close to the wall on the left and take your time accelerating. You can take this left turn at full throttle, bring yourself to the left side of the track, and shortly after the curb on the left starts, you want to start to brake. Take your time easing off of the brakes, and this turn's a little bit tricky as there's no brake marker, so you want to start to brake right here. Just use a little bit of braking as you make your way through this turn. Brake when the curb on the right starts. Don't get too close to the wall, don't turn in too early. Take your time slowly accelerating so you don't make contact with the gravel. Bring yourself to the left side of the track, and right after the curb on the left starts, you want to use some of your braking power. Just take your time slowly accelerating. Bring yourself to the left, and as you make this right turn, you want to ease off of the throttle. You can slowly start to accelerate, just make sure you don't make any contact with the gravel on the left. When the curb on the right starts, you want to brake hard for a short moment, then carefully accelerate through this chicane. Bring yourself to the left, and you want to brake just after you pass the 100-meter mark. This hairpin is really awkward, and you want to turn in at around the 50-meter mark. Just take your time slowly accelerating as you want to make sure that you don't end up touching the grass. Bring yourself to the right side of the track and brake before you pass the 50-meter mark. This turn is not too bad, you just gotta take your time slowly accelerating and then you'll be good to go. For the awkward chicane, you want to start to brake when you reach the arrows that are on the surface. So you'll brake right here, brake as much as you can for a short moment, slowly ease off of the brakes and get two wheels onto the green area. Just take your time slowly accelerating and use a little bit of braking to get the car to rotate around the second half of the chicane. This long right turn can be taken at full throttle. Just make sure that you don't make contact with the grass that is on the right or end up hooking your right tires onto the inside of the curb. Then brake just as you reach the 100-meter mark, slowly ease off of the brakes, then quickly apply the throttle. And for this final turn, you can just bring yourself to the left side of the track and you will brake at the 100-meter mark. Just try to make contact with the apex and slowly accelerate. That is all for the lap guide. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about the strategies. For this qualifying session, you have 10 minutes to try to get a good qualifying time. This will be enough to get you 2 flying laps in, and the important thing is going to be the slipstream. You have many high-speed sections on this track, so it's going to be critical to make sure that you have at most a 1.5 second gap between yourself and the car ahead of you, so you can make sure that you are within the slipstream zone. So while you're trying to get the slipstream from the car ahead of you, you do want to maintain a bit of space, because with the high-speed sections, you're going to be getting a little bit closer to the car ahead of you as you go throughout the lap, unless if they're getting the slipstream too from another car that is ahead of them. So that's going to be very important. It's going to shave off quite a bit of time, and if you do that while maintaining a gap, then you're going to be able to get a really good qualifying time. And because the tire wear is so low, you can pretty much just go all out from the very start, as a tire wear on most cars shouldn't become a problem at all, and that's going to apply to the race as well. For the race strategy, you want to make sure that you do a one-stop, so you'll be doing 6 to 7 laps on racing medium tires and only 1 lap on the racing hard tires. So if you're starting in the back, you can start on the racing hard tires, get that out of the way, and then after 1 or 2 laps, depending on how your car treats its tires, then you can switch on over to the racing medium tires and complete the race with it. For most cars, the tire wear shouldn't be an issue at all, so for most cars, it should be pretty easy to do 7 laps on the racing medium tire before you need to switch on over to the racing hard tire. And you do need to use the racing hard tire because that is the required tire, so make sure that you use it at some point in the race so you can avoid getting a 1-minute penalty after the race ends. And you want to make sure that you do not do the no stop, so starting on the racing hard tires. While the tire wear won't be a problem at all, your pace is going to be a much bigger problem. So the thing is that the time per lap gap between the racing medium and hard tires is 2 to 3 seconds. So just because it is 2 to 3 seconds per lap, you're not going to be able to catch up to the one stoppers even after they do a pit stop that totals to around 13-14 seconds. So because of that and just how much slower the racing hard tires are here, you do not want to do the no stop, just go with the one stop. The other thing is to make sure that you slow down a little bit early if you do end up catching someone's slipstream, because you do have a lot of high-speed sections on this track, so you want to make sure that you don't catch yourself by surprise and end up putting the car ahead of you. And last but not least, make sure you have a good idea of how this track flows, because it's a really awkward track. I honestly was not having a good time here at this track, so if you're going to do this race, just make sure you get to know how the track flows, because it has a really weird flow to it. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this guide. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.